Welcome to Art with Ian. Today we are talking about character art tips. This is for just creating really simple, fun, easy characters. I've got a little method I like to use. Here are a few that I had done before. We'll turn those off for now. Let's create a new layer. So basically what we want to do is we want to think about the cranium and the jaw and create two shapes for for each respectively. So just to start out simple here, let's just think of the cranium as basically a circle type shape, right? And stay super loose when you do this. Try not to tighten up. Try not to sit and worry about any of your line quality. Line quality is not important right now. So we get the cranium going, and then we create another shape that will be basically like the jaw, right? Emulate the jaw. And also thinking about the fact that the eye line is kind of in the middle, usually around the middle of the head. So the secondary shape we create, let's create another shape, will be basically act as our eye line, right? For all intents and purposes. And then we can kind of connect these two shapes and think of maybe the mouth being near this secondary line where that connects. And so then from there, yeah, you can and if you want to kind of turn the head, you can put in your little indicator for the head turn, right? Maybe think of a brow line, and this can be your cheek line here. You can add more interest as you kind of start to define the sketch a little bit. Also think about you're creating characters, so maybe consider what kind of character you want them to have in the expression that you create, kind of a thing. I'm gonna give this guy kind of like a cheeky grin, like he's kind of happy about something maybe he shouldn't be. The ear is gonna kind of go in, between the brow and the nose. I'm going to continue, just put a little neck on him here. Maybe some, he's a pretty big dude. And then you can just kind of define that bit more, what you want to be the actual silhouette as you go along. I don't know if I actually like that. I don't really want him to have a jawline. He's just kind of too fat for that. Okay, and then we can kind of give more expression through those eyes. What's he looking at? If he's looking off camera, then that tells the viewer there's more to the story than they know. If they're just looking straight at the viewer, then the viewer knows what they are. So then that stops the storyline at the viewer and the character. If the character's looking off screen, there's more going on here in this world than just you and the character. No, I'm not saying that every time every character has to be looking off screen. I'm just saying it's something to consider. Okay, let's do another one. Pushing features and things like that is a good way to. That made him look no, he still looks pretty greasy. Pushing features, pushing shapes is a good way to create character. So let's just start with a more pushed shape from the beginning. Let's try like this kind of a shape for the cranial shape, and then let's maybe just put in like a little shape that we can kind of call maybe like the chin into the mouth right here. Right, and so we didn't actually get our eye line from that, so we'll have to put that in ourselves, but that's okay. Really, this whole method is just about taking a couple shapes and trying to get them to produce the opening result, which is that you got some lines down, and you are no longer staring at the screen wondering what the heck you should draw. And that's the whole point of this method, is it's not really, I wouldn't call this like a high, from an artistic standpoint, we're not looking at like a high level of, you know, the Loomis method or these kinds of great methods for getting human characters down. What we want to do is we want to get fun, simple character art going here. And and for me, in my opinion, the best way I've found to do that is just to get lines out without actually overthinking them. And sorry if I'm kind of stumbling over my words or speaking slow. Speaking and drawing at the same time is not exactly the easiest thing you'll ever do. It's hard to do both. But anyways, so yeah, you kind of get this quick ideas. It becomes the initial mood. Your initial mood as you go into drawing is let it flow, get a couple shapes down, and then just, you know, keep going from there. And don't overthink. Don't worry about your line quality. Don't worry about any of that kind of stuff right now. Just all you want to do is think of a character. Think of the character. Try to give it character, you know what I mean? Let's do one more. Since we're thinking of the cranium as the first shape, right? Let's say if we you know, push a cranial shape that's quite, you know, elongated kind of a feeling. Like the cranium is kind of elongated towards the back a little bit. It's not a perfect circle. So we can think of that shape and then push it, right? And then we know the jaw shape kind of comes down off of the where the ear connect, you know, right at the ear here. This is where our jaw connects in. And so we could throw another shape in there. And basically you could say to yourself, okay, well then that's my eye line, that's my mouth line, and start coming up with, you know, characters this way as well. We could find a center line through there, right? I did a lot of character art in my... We could do either a skeletal nose for this guy, which would be kind of cool, or he would also look pretty good, I think, with like a really long, kind of pointy thing happening, right? Which I think I'm going to go with just because it's something I probably would do less often. Yeah, so I did a lot of character art in my 20s, and it's always just been something I really love. In fact, I had to push myself to grow past this kind of, you know, this was my kind of my first love as an artist. That after I was like as a kid, I did like, you know, I drew superheroes, like Batman was always my favorite, and cars, and which I still love doing vehicle design and stuff, don't get me wrong. But and then I got, you know, I was a teenager in the 90s and early 2000s, and I got really into like graffiti art, which was getting quite huge, and really some of the artists were getting really sophisticated in the work they were producing at that point. And I got really into that, and had a couple friends who were extremely talented, and so I basically, you know, actually it was my friend's older brother, but who had a group of friends, and I used to go through their sketchbooks and look at all their character designs, and like it was just, I mean, it was like equal parts like I'll never be that good and insanely inspiring kind of a feeling, you know. It's been a really long time since I've seen any of that stuff, so I have no idea what, you know, I would think of it now. If I saw, I'm sure I would still think it was amazing, because I'm sure it just was, but yeah, this has always been, you know, just creating fun characters, quick. But when I was younger, I didn't have this. I hadn't come up with this method yet. This whole simplicity is, you know, just creating a couple shapes that where the lines kind of cross over each other. Just use those. Give yourself an eye line. Give yourself a mouth line. Give yourself something to work off of, and you know, staying super loose. I tried so hard. I would, you know, I would, you know, be doing this kind of a thing, trying to work out the silhouette, you know, and it's just it's so slow, and there's no freedom in it, and it's the natural thing to do, to take too much care, right? To try too hard. But with digital really helped me to see past that, because what I'm about to do right now, basically, once you have a sketch that you like, you can just turn the opacity down, create a new layer, and then you can get in and do cleanup. So let's say I want to work on this guy, you know, and you still probably don't want to tighten up too much. If you're like me, you know, over tight line art kind of kills it off, kind of kills it dead. But, you know, just be cleaner, or be as clean as you want, you know. Some people really like that highly tightened up line art look, and some people like to keep it completely loose. Like, some people might not even tighten it up beyond my original sketch. And I think all styles have their own place. So, you know, do you, of course. But you know, just on a recommendation alone, I would say if you are putting really tight line art down, to maybe think about why you're doing that, what it is that inspires you to do that, and then if your style is actually right for that. Like, I know, like, for example, there's a lot of anime fans out there, and anime, as it's produced as a, you know, as animation, has extremely thin, tight, very crisp outlining. But I would wager to say probably the artists who do that work, if they did their own work, or if you looked at maybe their own work, like their sketchbook or their designs, their ideas, probably a lot of it is quite a bit looser, more them. The thing about creating an animated feature is that everything has to look uniform. So artists' individual styles go out the window when the cleanup crew come in and ink over everything, right? And that's kind of important. It needs to happen that way, because otherwise you get like one shot of a character with one artist's line art style and another shot of that same character with another artist's line art style. And then you basically start losing the cohesive feel. So the best way to get that out is to just create one consistent thing, and to have that be very clean and tight line art for the inking crew to, you know, just say, hey, just keep it really tight. So bear that in mind as an individual. Try to bring individualism to your work. You're not on, unless you're on a project where all your work has to look just like everyone else's work, try to have a voice. Anyways, so that's basically the method. Think of the cranium, think of the jaw, create two shapes, try to find ways where those lines match up. You can find an eye line, you can find a nose, a mouth line, and then just stay super loose, have a lot of fun. Think about pushing features, try not to be too safe, and that's going to wrap up the tips on my character art. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications of future videos. Give this one a like and a comment, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, ring the bell for notifications of future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.